just hustle for a check. Young nigga run it up. I ain't really bragging till I'm in a G-Wagon truck. And even at the den, that still might never be enough. I'm in the Murcielago, smoking louder with the wings up. They used to overlook me, now they overbook me. I'm on some big dog shit, use a little puppy. Every nigga with me, one's hella blicky. Don't you move quickly, cause it could get sticky. I got 20/20 vision with these lenses. The mama coming through, bringing friends for my friends.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Brooklyn Boxing Podcast. I am joined by Arnold Gonzalez. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me, Pat.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. I was checking out your background, of course. I think a young star in the making from New York, and you're out in LA now, but you know your roots were in Harlem, correct?
100%. I was born and raised in New York, in Harlem specifically, and now, just chasing the dream out here in LA. I found a good team out here and just trusting the process and, taking it one fight at a time.
Yeah, I hear you. I was like, when I first was looking at your background, I saw Harlem. I immediately thought of Camacho, with the recent documentary that came out on him.
Yeah.
He must have been, was he a guy for you, like growing up, that you were just like, man, that dude, like he's the guy, right?
I like heard of him a lot growing up, but he was never really like someone I looked up to, but I completely like respected, like, because he's, one of the greats to do it. And he grew up on El Barrio on the other side of Harlem. I'm on the west side of Harlem, but that has nothing to do with it. But yeah, like I knew who Camacho was. And
yeah, you want to follow what he did in the ring, but not so much out of it, obviously.
100%.
Yeah,
he's
but
a great fighter.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool. I don't know if you got to see any of the doc on him. It was pretty cool though. I mean, he was a great personality. When he came back to Harlem after his big wins, he had the crazy outfits on and everything.
Right.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to see. But
I haven't had a chance to look at it, but
yeah, you should check it out. It's cool just to see like old New York, and him roaming around, and he had star power. But yeah, definitely check that out. But to bounce back to you and your career, you're starting boxing, and well, I should say is when you were in college, right? I mean, you kind of were faced with a big decision, right? To go all in on boxing, or you were working on getting your criminal.
Yeah, so I had like an option to go to John Jay Criminal Justice College right there in New York, but I knew I would like have to prioritize something, and I just decided to prioritize the sport. And a lot of people, like, they always tell you, oh, you should do both education and boxing and so and so. That's true, it's doable 100%, but I wanted to give 100% to something, like, like not go 60% on education and then 40% on boxing. Like, if I'm going to dedicate myself to something, I'm going to do it. Education is always there. I can always go back to college. Of course you lose time, and no one wants to lose time, but why not just give it your all and chase your dream?
Yeah. And that was like soon before making the jump to LA, correct?
Yes, correct.
And when you made that move over, obviously Wildcard Boxing Gym, like extremely well known, and Freddie Roach, they got everyone over there. I'm sure walking through the doors right away, did you have immediate connection with those guys, or was that like, how did that come about, you jumping into that gym?
I was an instructor at a gym in Midtown Manhattan, 41st and Madison. Everybody Fights. The owner of the gym, and George Foreman III. I'm sure you know who George Foreman is. So his son, the third, yeah. I built a really good connection with him, and I've always like talked to him about, turning pro eventually after my amateur career. And, I remember Top Rank had a media day at the gym, Everybody Fights, and I met Freddie Roach there. He had Machado fighting, the Southpaw Puerto Rican Machado fighting. So they were doing a media workout, and I got to chat with Freddie Roach there. And I told him, like, I'm gonna come out to your gym one day soon. No, I told him soon, because I'm gonna go pro, and I'm gonna give everyone work, like, just messing around, and messing around but being serious at the same time. And he just like looked at me like, yeah, okay, like, cool, nice to meet you, kid, and kept it moving. He was busy. Then I spoke to George about it, and George, like, G3 flew me out to LA to get the experience, at the Wildcard gym. It was just to get the experience at, being at a world-class gym, sparring with like professional fighters and being around that environment. And I ended up impressing Freddie and a lot of the trainers that were there. And Pacquiao announced that he was gonna fight Broner and return to Wildcard Boxing Gym to train with Freddie. So I just became a sparring partner for Pacquiao.
Yeah. That's so crazy, right? I mean, that happened so fast. It was like you must have been like pinching yourself, right, when you first showed up.
It happened like it's crazy, like perfect timing, but also like hard work and just constantly being there in the gym and just showing up. I had bad days in sparring. I had very good days in sparring, but just keep showing up. Yeah. Once Pacquiao announced that he was coming back to Wildcard to train for the Broner fight, I was like, all right, like I already had that in mind. I was like, I can spar Pacquiao for this fight. I just gotta make it happen. I gotta do something about it. Take action. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, I would love to hear more about the sparring itself, but I've heard Pacquiao is like a super, of all the stars in boxing today, I've just heard like great things that he's just like a really down to earth, great guy. I'm sure, was that your impression too? Like right away, he just kind of like brought you right into the team and like good atmosphere.
100%. Yeah, he takes care of the people who are around him, who help him. So he gives back a lot. I'm sure like like with his country, he's a senator in the Philippines. He helps out a lot. But also his team. He takes care of everyone that's around him and everyone who's contributing in a good way. He makes sure you're good, So he's such super humble person, and he's like an animal inside the ring.
Still at it, right? I mean, it's crazy. I think like, we can get into it in a minute about some of the fights that could be on the horizon for him. But first of all, is that sparring, that first time getting in there with Pacquiao, just tell me about it. I mean, it must have been, how hard were you guys going? How many rounds? Like, were you surprised by what he was able to do? Like, what was that like?
Yeah. So I sparred him Christmas Day on 2018 for the first time. And yeah, I know. Yeah, Christmas on. It was like around 1ish. Yeah, so it's crazy. I remember, Freddie told me like show up to the gym an hour before Pacquiao gets here and get ready. So I did. I showed up like 2 hours before Pacquiao arrived, and I was ready and I was hyped. I was like, I'm young. I'm about to turn pro. Pacquiao's just turned 40 years old. I think he was 39, 40 at that time, and I was like, he's too old. Like I'm about to put it on Pacquiao right now in front of everyone. Everyone was there in the gym, so I was confident. But as soon as Pacquiao walked in and walked through the door, like his presence. I don't know if you ever met him, but his presence just is the way he carries himself. Like just walks in, like he takes over any room that he walks into, and I was just like, shit. I'm about to box Pacquiao. I'm about to spar Pacquiao. I'm about to get in there with Manny Pacquiao. And I grew up watching Pacquiao. So the first round, I remember it didn't go good. He was landing a lot of. I just couldn't. You just can't prepare for a style like that. Like even in the amateurs, you don't see a style like Pacquiao style because he's just so awkward. Like he's just one of a kind. But
was it the way he's like blitzing in, or like the
just bouncing around, tapping his gloves, like hesitating and feigning even when he wasn't trying to feint? It's just a weird style. And then when he steps forward with his punches, he's off balance to someone else, but he's not off balance. But anyone looking like as a spectator, or if you're in front of him, you're like, oh no, he's off balance. How is he gonna throw that shot? And he throws it and lands it. Like it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that Pacquiao, I mean, that must have been just an amazing experience, obviously. And I guess after the sparring session, like, were you like, where was your head at after that? Were you just like, was it? I mean, you must have been really confident, right? I mean, just having that experience under your belt, being in there with a legend.
Right. Yeah. So 100%. So like my confidence went up. I was also sparring George Kambosos Jr. during the training camp. kid from Australia, I think. Yeah, pretty solid fighter. So I was sparring like very good top competition, and I was ready. I was like, all right, good. I got the experience I wanted, before my pro debut, and that went good. So, and I got invited back to the next camp as well. So it paid off. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty crazy. I mean, you had some sparring with Pacquiao before your first pro fight, right? I mean, you must have been standing across your first opponent like, man, if I can
Yeah.
get in there with Pacquiao, this is nothing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I was still nervous,
Right.
because it's there, but that definitely helps. That definitely helps. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So what's next for your pro career? Obviously, you're off to a great start with coronavirus, everything going on. I'm sure there was probably, I'm sure you wish to be more active this year, but it is what it is. Everyone's dealing with it. But is there any, upcoming stuff or, announcements on the way?
I actually fought twice this year, which I'm grateful for, because a lot of
Good
fighters
spot.
didn't,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of fighters didn't fight at all. I
Yeah.
fought March 7th at the Barclays Center right before the pandemic happened and the corona and everything shut down. So I got lucky with that, and then I went over to Ecuador, Quito, and I had a fight out there, my fifth professional fight, and I'm actually going back January 30th. So, and I'm not fighting in Quito though, because the altitude in Quito is so high. When I went out there, I was like, shit, like it was hard to breathe. After the first round, like the air is so heavy out there. Like I won't do it again. Yeah, but I'm actually co-promoting this next event. Yeah, I'm actually working with a promoter out there, and you know, and I've educated myself on the sport and a bit myself. So I'm taking some fighters from the States, and I'm co-promoting them my next show, and it'll be televised all
Oh,
through
wow.
South America. Yeah.
That's awesome. Is it going to be on any streaming services too? I'd love to help help you promote it when the time comes.
Of course, yeah, and it's on a network called Gala Vision, but it's obviously it's a Spanish channel, a Ecuadorian channel out there, but
Mhm.
they're pretty big in South America. Obviously, we don't have that in the States, but we found that network to work with. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, make sure to send me that after the interview. I'll definitely check it out and push it out on my channel as well.
Thank you.
Um,
Appreciate it. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean that's so that's good. I mean, you're obviously more active than most, and you definitely made the most of the year, and you got some big stuff coming up in January. So we're all excited to. I know I'm excited to follow that, and I think people after this interview, will be excited to follow your career as well. But what do you think about, just to talk a little bit about, some fights to come in the game today? Maybe your thoughts on, Spence's last performance against Garcia, and obviously I'm going to, your team Pacquiao.
Yeah.
That could happen, Spence and Pacquiao. And what are your thoughts on that matchup stylistically, and just general
Um,
opinion on that?
as far as the Pacquiao Spence fight, Spence is a great fighter. He's dangerous, and he's young, and after that accident, a lot of people thought that he won't come back and he'll be hurt and stuff. But an accident like that can, like, if you take it the right way, it makes you like stronger. Like, damn, I'm good after this accident. What is another man gonna do in front of me inside of a ring? If he uses that mentality. But I wouldn't want to see Pacquiao and Spence fight. I don't think Pacquiao needs that fight, and it's just a dangerous fight for Pacquiao. Although I got Pacquiao winning, like I have to roll with Pacquiao, but I wouldn't want him to take that fight just because it's a dangerous fight. There's no need for Pacquiao at 40 years old to go in there and put his body like through all of that. The Keith Thurman fight was a tough fight for Pacquiao as well, and I just feel like there's other fights that Spence could take out there, like the Crawford fight, Terrence Crawford fight, and yeah.
I think everyone's hoping for that matchup. It's just like, it's tough, man. Like with Crawford and Bob Arum, their relationship seems like it's going to shit. It's like, I don't really know what's going to happen there,
Yeah, but I'd love to see that fight, and I got Crawford winning that fight if they fight.
Yeah, I think I would ride with Crawford on that one as well. He just, man, he looked so good against Kell Brook. I mean, he made
Right.
work of him.
Yeah, man. Like he's complete. That's the definition of a complete fighter, I think, for me. Crawford. Yeah.
So with Pacquiao too, I got another question for you. Maybe you could tell me if it's any truth to it. I heard some rumors that maybe his next fight, he wants it to be in the Philippines, outside, maybe a high profile type audience. I don't know. I heard some rumors about that. Is that where you think it's trending? He wants to do it in the Philippines.
I've heard of it. I'm actually very close, and I work with Pacquiao's business advisor, Sean Gibbons, and like I can't say everything, but I'm sure, yeah, they're working on something, for his next fight, something exciting.
That would be very, very exciting to see that happen. I mean, obviously they love him over there. He's like the king of the Philippines, like
He's the god over there, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it's like, man, boxing needs events like that. It's like Thrill and Manila round two, with Pacquiao over there fighting outside. So hopefully that does happen.
Right, that would be amazing.
So what do you think about, I'll wrap up here with a couple more questions just about some fights coming up. I just would love your kind of opinion on it. Obviously there's a lot of movement right now going on in the heavyweight division. We got Joshua fighting this weekend against Pulev. Seems like Deontay Wilder and Fury aren't going to be doing the trilogy. I guess if you could give me one guy who stands out at the top, who would that be? Say they all fight each other the next 2 years. Who do you think the last man standing is in that division?
In the heavyweight division, I think I'm not a fan of him, but I just watching him box Tyson Fury, like he's for a big guy, that man can move. Yeah, that man can move. He can feint, and the heart that he showed on the first fight against Wilder, like you can't teach something like that. Getting up from a knockdown, like 2 knockdowns like that.
Mm-hmm.
He got knocked down twice, right, or three times. I think it was two times. Yeah,
I think it was 2 times. The first knockdown was like not as devastating, like kind of clipped him. And then, man, that last one, I mean, it's just like
I was like, done. That's it. It's over. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was really, I mean, I can't remember. I mean, in the last, that had to be maybe the biggest moment, like to me in boxing in the last like 10 years, maybe more. Like, I don't know. I mean, it was just like the way he got up. It was like, that's a movie. It was a movie. Yeah.
I was there live. I was on.
Oh, you were? Oh my God.
Right. Yeah. That was the first time I came out to LA.
Wow.
And Fury was at wild card with Freddie Roach. So they like took me to the fight, and I was there watching that live.
The crowd must have been crazy, right?
Insane. It was insane. Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, you thought he was out, right? I mean, when he got
like, it's over. That's it. I turned around. I was looking at everyone. I was like, everyone was celebrating that he just gets up. You see everyone just point at the ring like
he's alive. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. That is crazy. That is really crazy. But yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on, getting to know you a little bit. Excited to check out, your next fight that you're helping to promote some other guys too in Ecuador. And, if you want to tell guys or everyone listening, where to follow you on Instagram and maybe, some more about how to watch when that comes up.
Of course. So I keep everyone updated on my Instagram. It's my name, Arnold Gonzalez.ag. And I'll be posting details about, where to stream my fight, how to watch my fight, and just updating everyone. And Facebook, Arnold Gonzalez. Twitter, I don't have a Twitter. I should make one.
Yeah. Sweet, man. Well, hey, I appreciate it. Everyone watching, make sure to subscribe at the PodMatrix on YouTube. Follow me at Brooklyn Boxing Podcast on Instagram. Arnold, appreciate this. This will be out soon, and can't wait for all you guys to see it.
Thank you, Pat.